What's going on, YouTube and guys? Welcome to Lords of the Long Box. Happy Revenge of the 5th and happy Cinco de Mayo to you all. We got another cover price top 10 list for you guys. I hope you guys are staying cool. We're going to be having some nice cold beverages as we kick this off. You know how we like to do, man.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's 3 greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Oh, yeah. I got my tall boy michelada. Oh, my God. I feel so good. It's warm today.
Ooh.
What up, everybody? Happy Cinco de Mayo to you. Happy Revenge of the 5th. Once again, it's the weekly task we like to call how many lords does it take to count to 10? This week, it takes 4 lords to count to 10.
3.5.
Welcome to the cover price top 10 list. I got my man, Otto. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? How's all my Sith Lords doing out there? Not Sith Lordly, but all those other Sith Lords out there. Happy to be here tonight. I missed last night, but I'm back and better than ever, baby.
Also in the house, Nemesis Kylo Ren.
What's going on, guys? It's Revenge of the 5th. The First Order is strong with cover price.
And cleanly shaven Dark Side Jedi.
Ooh. I'm ready for the final order. I told the boys today that I watched episode 9 last night. I gotta say, it moved up on my list. Moved up on my list.
If you guys missed it, me and Ryan was shooting the shit yesterday on May the 4th be with you. We dropped some scoops. Apparently not a lot of people like to watch it. It's only got 400 views. But during that show, we talked about there's going to be a Kanan live action series coming to Disney Plus. They want to do it. They're going to talk about when Kanan was a Padawan. So this is basically the exact storyline of Kanan, the last Padawan. Like, if you needed any more reasons to get that book is probably going to pop back on this list. Maybe it is on this list. I don't know, man. But this is the weekly top 10 brought to you by our friends at CovrPrice.com, man. Go to CovrPrice.com. You can get a 2-week free trial right now, and you can just look it up. If you guys watched the interview last week, they talked about new pricing points because they heard what you guys were saying, how it's a little bit too expensive, and they realized things are kind of tough right now in the world of coronavirus and all. So they got new pricing points in there. The show is also brought to you by our friends at KRScomics.com. Go to KRScomics.com. Use the discount code of LOTLB. That's Lords of the Long Box. LOTLB. And guess what? This is still in stock. It's amazing. All the slabs are sold out, but this amazing Spider-Man number 44 Philip Tan variant is still available for pre-order on KRScomics.com. You can use the discount code on that particular book, and it is still.
What is the homage on this? Who is the villain?
That's the
on top
the
of
first
him.
Kindred.
Venom.
No, I know, but who is the
Venom.
That's
it's
a
an
swipe,
homage
right?
of ASM 316, 317, the first cover appearance of Venom.
Okay.
So that's why that's why your memory banks are like, hey.
No, it looks familiar. It looks very familiar.
All right. We got a quick time to shout out everybody in the live chat. My man Johnny Boy was tailgating there along with JLS Comics. What's up? What's up? Johnny Dakota in the house. Sith Lordly holding it down. Chad Crow, Randy Sloan, Lon Espinoza. Happy Cinco de Mayo to you too. Feliz Cinco de Mayo. I met this girl on the 5th of May. They were singing Cinco de Mayo. Dun, 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 dun. Go to YouTube. That song is dope by Malo. Chad Crow, Unknown Comics. Marco says some carnage for Top Spot. I don't know if it's going to be in the top spot, but ever since the news dropped about the Carnage title, it's been making a lot of appearances on here. Moonbase Alpha, the bourbon is flowing. Let's do this. Indeed, Comic Man Andy, what's up, brother? Knights of Ren. Look at that. Comic Man Andy again. Thunderhouse Design. Amazing Murphinator in the house. Still depressed that his boyfriend Tom Brady left him and moved to Florida. In John We Trust. Yes, that is the in John We Trust. Love the long intro. That is the longer version of the remix that ever since StreamYard allows us to put like what 2 minutes worth or something like that.
5.
I even have a longer version. I have a 2-minute version of the song that I'll probably, as soon as I get ready, Colossal Sunny, Wolf Blitz in the house. Been a minute. Bayou Boy Entertainment, always representing Roger Levesque. Good Lord, there's a bunch of you guys now. I should have never got started with this, but this is our list of top 10 comics sold for the week ending May 3rd. All right, so this is a comic sold from last week up to May 3rd, and there are a lot of new faces on here, and there's a book on number 1 that I've never even heard of in my life ever. And we're talking ever, but as we do, let's get right to what the runners up. Runners up on the list this week is a goodie but oldie but goodie. That's right, boys and girls. Amazing Spider-Man number 300 has made the list. You know why? Because the Venom stuff is hyping everything up. For Modern Creeds, the first appearance of Venom is pretty important. With the recent Venom Let There Be Carnage teaser, it lit a fire into this book again. 25 copies sold with a 7-day trend of 103% with a high sale. Get this, $750, and that's a CDC 9.6. I've never seen it go that high for a CDC 9.6, but this book, you know what? Just when you think this book can't get any higher, it gets higher, and you would think there's just
shit. What are 9.8 selling for?
Oh, a lot. I haven't signed
over 2,000, like 2,000.
2,000 is going to go rate for those.
Wow.
And there's so many out right now because a bunch of people got them signed at the last Todd McFarlane signing, and I would say a majority of the books were ASM 300, right? I mean, nobody's gonna, that's probably the most popular. I don't know. There may be others but Spawn 1 isn't nearly worth as much as Amazing Spider-Man 300. Next up on the runners-up list, these are books that were just outside of the top 10. Boom. This one is interesting, and I love this one because this is Silver Surfer. This is the Silver Surfer Black series. So this is a hard-to-find second print with Knull on the cover, and Knull covers are all the rage right now. It sold 16 copies that had a 7-day trend of 160% with a high sale of $90 for a CDC 9.6. So this is hot just because Knull is on the cover. This is when Silver Surfer kind of went off into his own thing, and he became like Silver Surfer Black, and he kind of got a darker version of him. But this is just another thing of those Knull rumors are not going away. I don't know when he's going to show up. I haven't heard anything. The rumors of Christian Bale are all over the place. The most recent one is he's Gore again. There's rumors that he's Knull again. But they're kind of all over the place with this, man. So it'd be interesting to see. What it's just cool is because if it doesn't happen, it's still a cool character. I remember somebody asked Donny Cates on Twitter, he goes, "What race is Knull?" And Donny Cates doesn't have an answer. He goes, he's one of a kind. I was like, that makes no sense.
Boy.
He still has to have a race. All the elders are a race of somebody until they weren't, right? But let's get right to it, boys and girls, and do our top 10. Number 10 on the list is being pulled over from last week.
That's it. They're coming back over. Marvel Secret Wars number 8. Classic book right here. Now this book is so undervalued. I don't understand. Now remember, this came out as regards to the toys, right? Marvel wanted to come out with the toys. That's why you get the Marvel superheroes, but it's affordable. It's undervalued. We've seen a boost in it. It sold 27 copies, had a high 7-day trend of 111% and a high sale of $285 for a 9.8, which in my opinion is super cheap for this book. It's on the cover. It's the first time the symbiote attaches himself to Spider-Man. And why this book is still so undervalued, I don't know. And when you go from a 9.8 at, you can get a 9.2 for under $100. Just an incredible book. High raw sale of 81. So people are going after it. It's a great book, but I just don't see why it's so undervalued at this point.
Yeah, I mean, everybody already has one in their collection when it first came out. You guys don't even understand how big this news was because Spider-Man had the same costume for decades, and then this when he first got the black costume on him. I mean, this is everybody said I have a 9.8, and as you can tell right there, when you use the CovrPrice.com website, there's a key that shows you that it is a key issue right there on the graphic. You can't miss it at all. All right, so number 10 on the list, Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars, the first black suit, or one of the first black suits from 1984. All right, number 9 on the list. What do we got?
Well, we talked about Venom 3 last week as a crazy first appearance, but this one is what is known also for another first cover appearance of Knull. This is Venom number 5, the scan variant. And this is the first time I think we've seen one of these on the list. It's an exclusive from a store. So this is limited from Frankie's Comics. limited to 3,000. This was the trade dress, but there is a virgin one. But again, we touched upon last week the first cover appearance in Knull and how this particular is technically came out 2 months before that third print. And I think really the Venom 3 is now being basically outpriced for collectors to get. So people are going after this Venom number 5. Collectors seem to be going for both this and of course the third print. But with this cover's Virgin Brother, like I said, selling for $100 currently, the trade dress version trended better as it moved more copies because it is a little cheaper. So 15 sales last week, 7-day uptrend, 238%, and a high raw sale of $56. So like Tim said, man, Knull is coming. We don't know when, but it's just all spiking on the top 10 report.
I'm still catching up my reading is on the Venom stuff. I mean, it kind of got crazy with the Venom worlds and universe. Anything has Knull been in? Was Knull in any of the comics before the shutdown? I'm trying to remember.
He last appeared briefly at the end of Absolute Carnage and then Marvel's Incoming, and that was it.
So he's still the god of the symbiotes, right? That's what he's considered. Yeah. So I think that I do believe that's the Necrosword too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the Necrosword is actually tied to Gore, isn't it? And that's why I remember, if you remember, those Thor issues were hot for a minute because that was supposedly like the first appearance of the Necrosword. But all right, so number 8 on number 9 on the list is Venom number 5. This is actually the scan variant, limited to 3,000. So that's pretty cool. All right, number 8 on the list, kind of come out of nowhere, but it's expected because it's coming up soon. All right, I'll talk over since Otto is muted. Number 8 on the list is
my kids. I'm back. Let's see. I'm gonna go. They're not eating breakfast because of this now. No, Savage She-Hulk number 1, 1980. You know, it landed. It's just been a book that we've talked about here and there. You know, the casting is happening, so it could be a while before we hear anything official. But the collectors are getting ready, and the sales are picking up with 35 copies, a 7-day trend of 106%, and a high sale of 420 for a 9.8. Now, listen, this was Stan Lee's baby. This was the last time I think Stan Lee actually wrote something and put his name on as a writer. So that's why this book is a key for collectors. But you know, a year ago, you could have got this book at a 9.8 for 300, maybe even 250, and it's just hanging around. And it is the She-Hulk book that you want to go after if that's something for your collection. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I think Otto glanced over the most important part of this sentence is that it's rumored that they've casted somebody for it. So that's what's pushing this sale. So I would imagine it's this recent stuff with Becky Lynch. That's my guess on why this book is popping, and that's what they think she's reading for. For you wrestling fans out there, and I'm not quite sure you understand human anatomy, because guess what? People on TV aren't as big as you think they are. Hulk Hogan is literally 6'1". He's not 6'6", 6'7", as big as Becky Lynch is 5'7", 135 pounds. So stop casting her for Titania, Thundra, and all these gigantic women. Charlize Theron is 5'10", or 5'11". Put that in his perspective when you think Becky Lynch is only 5'7". So it's interesting because actually, I mean, her acting jobs ain't too bad because she just got put in the this season of Billions, which is that show on Showtime, which is a great show. If you've never seen Billions, that is a fantastic show. All right, number 7 on the list is a returning customer.
Yes, it is. Amazing Spider-Man number 365, first appearance of Spider-Man 2099. So this issue, of course, that we have talked about several times, and it has the little key, so it is a key issue. But this book is easy to find, especially in some dollar bins if you look hard enough. And it's the first book collectors will seek out when they finally see the character in all his glory. We got 17 copies that sold last week, a 7-day uptrend of 254%, and a high sale, which is surprising, for $21. And speaking of Spider-Man 29, the Lords, I think, have a long-term spec list coming up soon.
That's right. I think what's pushing us, our man Mikey Sutton dropped the scoop that Spider-Man 2099 series is coming to Disney Plus, and tomorrow we got a long-term spec list that we're going to drop on that Spider-Man 2099, as well as a Daredevil long-term spec list. So my man Mikey Sutton dropped that Daredevil series is coming to Hulu, possibly FX, but he's hearing Hulu, and they're going to do a Spider-Man 2099 series for Disney Plus. We scooped this a long time ago, where I went on somebody else's YouTube channel to break it, and they questioned me at that time, and now they're doing whack-ass top 10 lists, so they can fuck off. But either way, still a great book to have. Spider-Man 2099. When you see this long-term spec list, you're going to be like, what? I just want you to think the 2099 universe as well as the new universe from Marvel. Okay, that's where these characters are. Because if you think about it, if they do a series based in the year 2099, they're not going to have their heroes you think of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just put that in mind when we come out with the long-term Speculators tomorrow at 6 p.m. We may push the auction back depending on how long it takes, boys and girls, but we'll push it back like Thursday or Friday. It's no big deal. You got shit else to do? No, you don't. Maybe Otto does. I don't know. He's got his family's driving him nuts over there. All right. So number 7 on the list, Amazing Spider-Man. Number 365, the beautiful hologram. Number 6 is something we haven't seen on the list, and I'm surprised we haven't seen on the list, but maybe things are building up now that the studios are finally able to do stuff. Well, number 6 on the list is
The Eternals #1, 1976. We talked about this. I spec'd on this book over 2 years ago with everything happening, and now with the COVID and everything's got pushed back, but it is coming. So the values are down a little bit compared to last year, but this book is selling like hotcakes as we get closer and closer, hopefully to a trailer. And once that trailer drops, forget it. If you want a copy, now's the time to get it. Prices are a little bit low. They sold 47 copies, had a 7-day trend of 99% and a high sale of 900, about a 901 actually for a 9.8.
That's still pretty cheap, man.
Yeah,
That is still pretty cheap for a 9.8 of a possible key. Just so you guys know, from a 9.8 down to a 9.2, you can get them for under $200 at a 9.2. But this is a book you can kind of go for between the 9.2s and the 9.8s, depending on whatever you like. High raw sales hit a 500 at one point, but the average is $70 to $80, and that's based on your guide on how you think the books look and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
2 9.6s. So I always tell you guys, like, there's times to buy and times not to buy. Like, buy before the news drops. Obviously, you need to have insider information. Wink, wink. Buy in between the announcement and the trailer. Buy in between the trailer and the release date. Buy after the release date, like 6 in between sequels, right? I mean, there's always, like, now is kind of a downtime. Now has been a great time to buy, actually, because nothing's been going on. But I will tell you right now, in talking to our sources, the Black Knight and Mikey Sutton, we're going to have our weekly spec show back very soon. Like, starting tomorrow. I mean, we used to be able to do this weekly because the studios are working on everything, but it's only a matter of time, boys and girls. Starting tomorrow, we're going to have a good old-fashioned scoop report with multiple scoops, and I kind of miss when we used to do that stuff, and that's where we made our bones, you like to see. All right, number 5 on the list is a book that I want to take because I want to discuss this, okay? I talked about this on Instagram a few days ago because in our live chat last week, people were asking me about this book, and I told you, stop, okay? So as we talked, when we had the CovrPrice guys on here, number 5 on the list is Ultimatum, number 1, the Ed McGuinness 1 in 20 variant. Now, when we had the CovrPrice guys on here, we talked about how these are not our opinions. These are based strictly on sales data. So if blame anybody, I blame you guys, the people who bought the copies of Mime, you guys who bought the copies of Corona, you guys who buy the copy of Nightwing 70 because you guys thought Punchline was going to be here. This is the same thing. And I'm going to give you the anatomy of a busted rumor, okay? For those who are just blindly getting this, not doing your research, this was all based off of one guy, MCUcosmic.com, posted that he heard that this Ultimatum was in development, okay? Well, let's dive into that and why he thinks Ultimatum is in development. It's because of this. Sean Sendio put it on his Instagram story, Underground Liberated Totally Integrated Mobile Army to Unite Mankind. That is a fucking acronym for Ultimatum. Guess what? That is an actual terrorist group in the Marvel Comics that's tied to Captain America. Guess who Sean Sendio works for? Sean Sendio is a production manager that works for Marvel Studios, and he's working on, you got it, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So there you go. And this is from a website that says fans spotted an Instagram post from the production manager of Falcon and Winter Soldier that teases the Ultimatum's acronym. MCU Cosmic ran with it and said Marvel's in development. When he got hit up on Twitter, asked and said, hey, it's this acronym. He goes, well, they're probably going to take parts of it to use in the MCU. And let's break this down. On our channel, we've talked about the biggest events that are coming to the MCU are Secret Wars 10, 11 years down the road. In between then, they're going to do Annihilation Wave, and they're going to do Secret Wars or Secret Invasion. So where do you have time to do a giant thing like Ultimatum? Let me bring on my second point of this rumor buster. The writer of this comic is Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb, who famously parted with Kevin Feige. Obviously, the relationship is not that well done. Why would Kevin Feige do anything that have just Jeff Loeb's name attached to it? Secondly, when this came out, this destroyed the Ultimate Universe, and it was widely panned by critics and readers alike as a shitty story. It killed everybody. If you don't know, Magneto reverses the poles to cause a giant, and he killed everybody. He killed Thor, Wolverine, everybody. They basically essentially killed off the the Ultimate Universe, and that was it. So let me bring up thirdly, you're Kevin Feige. You go from Civil War to the Infinity Gauntlet to Ultimatum. Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm just blaming the facts out there, but you guys bought these up. I'm not blaming you guys. I mean, you guys are bored right now. Maybe you got some stimulus money in your pockets, and let's look at the sales on this.
You probably had some good advice from another app.
I understand sometimes you're in a race to be quick about things, but sometimes you just got to read in between the lines, and like our friends at CovrPrice, they just give us the sales data, and sometimes I have to parse through it and tell you what it is. Comic Book Resources ran with it from one site that started MCU Cosmic, and Jeremy Conrad. He's the same guy that told you that Keanu Reeves was going to be in Eternals. So I don't know what else to tell you, man, but it had a 7-day trend of 189% and a high sale of $70 for a CTC 9.4. I will say this. These books litter dollar bin boxes everywhere. I mean, granted, there is some dope ass art on it by Finch, but the story is awful. It is panned by everybody. So there was a quick reference in Avengers Endgame when Okoye references sub-oceanic earthquakes occurring off the coast of Africa, right? So everybody assumed that was Wakanda, but now they're making the assumption that could be Magneto causing magnetic poles to do it. I mean, come on, guys, that is quite the stretch. What you're basically saying is Ultimatum, where Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver get killed, and Magneto goes on a crazy, crazy revenge tour and kills everybody by reversing the magnetic poles. You think that's gonna happen? I mean,
that sounds like a MCU ending event.
Yeah.
Where do you go from there?
It ended the Ultimate Universe.
Where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? So yeah.
I mean, I was so bummed by that. I was like, well, it's cool that they kill everybody, but they literally killed everybody. And after that, they were making comics about like Wolverine's son and some other ones. It was like they wanted to reboot the Ultimate Universe. What they ended up doing was killing it, and the only leftovers on it really are Miles Morales. And then after that, it was all gone. So, I just wanted to say, hey, it could happen. The chance of it happening, I don't think are likely. What it seems to be is a huge misunderstanding from this one Instagram story by Sean Sendio, who is a production manager for the Falcon Winter Soldier. And he just put up the story where he spelled out Ultimatum. So I'm assuming these guys don't read comics, and they don't know that the Underground Liberated Totally Integrated Mobile Army to Unite Mankind is an actual terrorist.
Say that 5 times fast.
That is a. You thought SHIELD was an acronym, man. Ultimatum is a hell of an acronym, but it's a terrorist group that's in the Captain America universe. So it seems more like that terrorist group is coming, or neither or this guy was just bored and he decided to just mess with people on his Instagram story. But there's the screenshots. Share with your friends, and make your own judgment. I'm just saying, buyer beware. Okay, if you can get these for cheap, this one, 1 in 20, it's but a top sale of $70 for 9.4. That seems to be too high to me. I have a box of these because I was collecting all the Ultimate comics, and I was at a point where I couldn't give them away, right? Because the original Ultimates, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four, great stories, and then it all went to hell because I don't know what Jeff Loeb was thinking when he did this, but it was one of the things that killed off the Ultimate Universe, and it's sad because it was some great stories. But either way, man, Ultimatum number 1, the Ed McGuinness 1 in 20 variant, is number 5. We're halfway through, boys and girls. Stick with us. Number 4 on the list is
we're back to Knull, Venom number 3, but this one's the third print.
Ooh.
Even with the debate of which cover came first, with the Knull on the cover, this is proving to be harder to find, and the cover collectors want more. It sold 40 copies, had a 7-day trend of 157%, and a high sale of $360 for a 9.8. And with raw sales hitting about 135. Has there been any other first cover with heat like this? It's unbelievable. It seems like collectors are really only focusing on the first cameo or the first full appearance. Regardless of what you guys think, this book is crazy hot right now. It's the third print. You can look at all the different prints, but this is the one that people are going after because he's on the cover. He's on the cover. He's got the sword. He's sitting right there for you.
That's part of collecting. People get the first appearance, they get the second appearance, they get the cameo, and then they get the first cover appearance, right? I mean, because there was so many. I mean, I don't think.
Do they have a separate issue for Origins these days, or is it all a first appearance / Origin now? Because didn't they used to have an Origin book? You could get a first appearance, and then the Origin story was another book. I think Doctor Strange had that.
Yeah, I mean,
situation.
sometimes you'll see like Origin and first appearance on it. Because if it's not a character they plan on using for a long time, they'll just be like, "Oh, here it is," and then here's his origin and first appearance. Like Punchline. Punchline hasn't done an origin yet. Remember, that's coming up in the Joker anniversary issue.
Right.
Yeah. You know, but that's what's cool on the CGC label. It'll say origin and first appearance. I mean, what the things get so convoluted now where people don't expect a character to get popular and they go, oh shit, we got to think of a cool origin for them. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, they fell in a vat of chemicals. They got bit by a radioactive spider. We need to come up with some craziness. So I have a feeling, you know, a lot of times we think these writers have plans. Like Donny Cates probably just like Knull is a throwaway character. Oh shit, I got to plan this. He's a god of the symbiotes. And there's a whole, I'm going to tell you right now, man, if you just read like some Venom issues from the 80s and that's all you knew about who Venom was, and then all of a sudden you got fast forwarded into 2020, first of all, you'd have to deal with the fact that Donald Trump is president, Kobe Bryant died, and there's a virus that kept everybody at home for 2 months straight. And then you'd be like, this is the symbiote. All right, so number 4 on the list is Venom number 3, the third printing, which is pretty cool. Number 3 on the list is
Spawn number 1.
Don't go away.
Yeah, I mean, what else do we have to say about Spawn number 1? It sold amazing pre and post pandemic. I mean, it's the hottest book of the early 90s from Todd McFarlane. Despite its massive print run, it's a great cover. I mean, they've done tons of cover swipes. Did last week, sold 34 copies, have a 7-day uptrend of 236%, and had a high sale of $135 for a CGC at 9.8. But you know what the one is to go for is the newsstand copy, guys. Not this cover, but the one with the little barcode on it.
Yeah, and just so Otto, Dave in the Cave said, "Don't forget about the murder hornets." We had an hour conversation in our private chat.
Otto goes, poof. They're bugs. No big deal.
Otto was like, "We're on the top of the fucking food chain. Fuck those hornets." Like, yeah, they're 2 inch long, and imagine 20 of them stinging the shit out of you. Because there's a crazy video that I posted of Japanese bees have figured out how to beat the murder hornet, and it's fucking crazy.
They need to bring Japanese bees here, like you said.
They need to train some of our bees here to get ready for these giant goddamn hornets, man. And that other video that Ryan posted where the guy said, like, stung himself in the arm with the murder hornet.
What the hell is his name? Coyote Peterson.
He's like a Bear Grylls type.
It's amazing. He lets himself get stung by all sorts of shit.
But he said his hand paralyzed and then his forearm swelled up like a fucking grapefruit when he got bit by a murder. I mean, just the name is awesome. I mean, Sony needs to hire them to help work on the titles instead of Let There Be Carnage. They could They could do Venom 2, Murder Hornets. All right.
Hey, hell yeah, murder bees, murder hornets.
All right, so number 3.
That's a great villain name, Murder Hornet.
Murder Hornet. We got to trademark that.
Trademark Lord's Long Box.
Spawn number 1. Spawn number 2, or excuse me, number 2 on the list is Ultimatum number 1. And again, see what I said about the other one. So, you know, what can I say? This is just the regular cover, I believe. There's also a 1 in 100 variant. So I'll give you the numbers on it. So with Eternals and Thor 4 out, MCU is building their epic story arc, and this could be coming. Regardless, folks like this spec and jumped out, causing the issue to land on the 2 spot this week with 37 copies sold with a 7-day trend of 385% with a raw high sale of $30. $30. You can buy these all over the place. So Ultimatum number 1. And I will say this, man, the David Finch art in this is badass.
It definitely is.
But when you if you look on CovrPrice.com, you'll see that this is the height of variant madness and variant crazes. There's variants, but this, and I will say this though, this is before online variants, right? I mean, for you kids that don't know, for us collectors growing up, online variants started in the early 2000s, and we had Dynamic Forces and a couple others, and that was it. Or you remember, I used to love getting a little Dynamic Forces sticker on it, and but now you got Frankie's, of course, our friend Kara's Comics, Unknown Comics, the Comic Mint, the Comic Vault, you name one. all these comic retailers are getting these, and I can tell you right, it's pretty expensive for them to get a variant out there. First, there needs to be an approved list. I can do a whole show on it because I talked to Kara's Comics about it, how they were getting it. So
is this the storyline that turned Green Goblin into like a dragon looking dude, like he was like a monster?
No, that was just in the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Ultimatum is literally the ending of the Ultimates universe. So it's Scarlet Witch. First of all, I know the reason why not to do this is in the Ultimate Comics, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were brother and sister, and they had a very, very inappropriate relationship. Okay, it was borderline incestuous. I will say that. If you've ever read it, they were really very close in a very odd kind of way. At one point, I believe Wasp was eaten alive by the Blob. And there was some really, it was really dark and twisted. What they did. At one point, Hulk ate somebody too. Hulk was kind of a raging beast, but there are some cool scenes in the Ultimates. I do believe at one point, somebody's asking Captain America if he wants to surrender. And Captain America says, "Do you see this A? It doesn't, this A on my head does not stand for France. We don't surrender." I was like, yeah, but then Ultimatum came and it just wiped it all out. But either way, the art is still awesome. And this before they had Weird, remember Weird Reed Richards, who ended up in the 616 as well. He came from the Ultimate Universe. Of course, we have the Marvel Zombies. We got, Ultimate Universe still there. So Ultimatums on 5 and 1. The 1 in 100 variant probably won't be on here because there's just not that many copies. I don't know how much people are going to spend for it, especially after this, since it's this. If you really think that the production manager, make an Instagram story of underground liberated, totally integrated mobile army to unite mankind is the same as the Ultimatum #1 comic, then kudos to you. You're better than I am at reading tea leaves. But all right, we have a new #1 on the list this week. And what is it, boys and girls?
Black Badge #1 from Boom Studios.
Never heard of it.
Never even seen it.
I'll tell you, I have a few of these copies. Not this #1. I have to actually look in my collection, but yeah, surprisingly, Black Badge #1 done by Matt Kent recently commented on Twitter saying that the book has been optioned. And of course, when things get optioned, that's when people go out and buy it. And he said that I think we're just waiting for an official announcement. So that's what he posted on Twitter, which basically means people are going to, which he also then deleted because that's what happens, because then people are just going to go out and buy it. But our friends over at comicsheatingup.net caught the tweet before it was pulled down. However, the damage was done and news has spread like wildfire. Black Badge is in the books as #1. Especially the standard cover sold 43 copies last week, giving it a 7-day uptrend, 588%, and a high raw sale of $27. So a book that went from pretty much cover price up to $27. But keep in mind, it does take months, if not longer, for optioned shows or movies to get announced. So it could be a while before anything is officially confirmed, whether it's on a streaming service, TV, movie, who knows.
All right. And let us be the ones to temper your expectations yet again. I'm not trying to like poo-poo anybody's spec books, but we've already talked about it. When the guys at CovrPrice would tell you, there are hundreds of, I think we talked about it during our interview where
we did. Yeah.
There are hundreds of things that have been optioned by Hollywood to be developed into TV, show, fucking plays, whatever, video games. That's what it means. And I would tell you this in talking to people in Hollywood buy up things so other people won't buy them. Right. So they are all looking for the next Walking Dead one. And so they see the small book. There's some guy reads and say, hey, we should pick up and get the rights to this. And then the VP will the studio exec will be like, well, why? Before somebody else does, because we don't want to FOMO.
Put it this way. Think of every Image, Boom, what's another one? IDW, anything that has been that you have heard has been optioned and got hot.
I have a long box full of stuff that I get.
Out of 10 books, how many of those were optioned? Were actually made into something?
Sender by Sony, God Country by Donny Cates. Also, do you remember the one Robert Kirkman has 2 or 3 of them?
There was Daymen by Boom. It was a vampire book. There's been so many. Peter Panzerfaust was a big one.
What's the other one by
God Country, right? Didn't God Country get option too?
Yeah, we
No,
said
God
that.
Country. Donnie Cates tweeted that I'm writing the script for it, and then that was a year ago. We haven't heard shit ever since.
They
So-
made a show out of Outcast, didn't they?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
another
Outcast-
Kirkham book out there.
No, there was a Thief of Thieves. Remember that was
Mhm.
option. Even The Darkness by Image was option at one point, and that was never named. Which way it got made, but The Darkness never got made. So it's good that you guys bought this up as soon as you saw that tweet, because I would say wait for this one. Wait a month or two, because when nothing happens, you can get it at a cheap. You know what? When you're not invested that much into it, then nothing. You're not losing. If you spend $10 on it, boom. If it pops, it pops. But I have a feeling that nowadays the hobby is full of a lot of young collectors that are chasing the dragon, right? You guys are trying. You guys don't just buy a couple of copies of cool. This is part of personal collection. When if it gets hot, I can flip it. What people are doing is going out and buying 20, 30 copies, thinking that it's going to be the next Walking Dead.
I blame you, Tim. It's people like you putting up videos of all your cool top 50 books and all. You're making people get that FOMO.
Yeah, but all my 50 books are old shit. I mean, I don't have nothing new. I
know, but people want to get there.
But here's the thing: is I will spec on the big two, because if Marvel and DC said they're going to do something, those books go up in value, even if this, whatever this is, Black Badge #1 becomes a TV show. There's only one Walking Dead.
Listen, I've said this, I think at least 4 times during our 5. Well, how many years have we been doing this show? 5 years? Oh my God. Through our 5 years. If you want a spec image, have your LCS pull image #1s. It's $3.99, once a week for how many books come out from Image? 2 or 3? And then you're good to go. You got them all.
2008, 2009, that was the height of my pull list. I was getting about 30 books a week. And I told my LCS, any variant and any #1 that comes out, pull it. And I got to a point where I had long boxes I hadn't even read yet. It was getting ridiculous. I said, no. Can I sift through them and see? He goes, no, you can't. I was like, well, fuck you then. Comic Quest and Lake Forest. So I went to Comic Tunes and Toys, and that's my LCS ever since. But basically, I wanted, because I couldn't make it there till after work. So I was like, look, pull all these #1s, and I'll pick and choose which ones I want to get. I remember when you remember that comic Morning Glories came out from Image? Super hot. I was able to get like #1 issues at the shop, and they had like 30 of them. And then I went there and I grabbed like 10 of them. And he goes, you can only buy 3 at a time. I go, motherfucker. I called my girlfriend down, and she goes, I can go in there and just get 3 of them. She goes, I'm never gonna let you live this down. I got to go in a comic shop and be around these virgins.
Yeah,
Oh
Boston Chris actually, I think that would be a really good idea. You know what? We'll talk about it offline. I don't want to give it away. I think it's a great idea for us to do.
Mystery boxes?
No.
But Road to Perdition?
Yeah. He gave me an idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell everybody if you'd like.
Well, here's the thing, Boston Chris. That movie came out before comic book speculation was huge. If you remember when Spider-Man Venom movie came out, nobody was out going buying the first appearance of Venom. When X-Men, when the X-Men movies came out, this is a recent thing where news and movie stuff. And I would say this recent wave of speculation, or people, books moving because of movies and TV, it is a byproduct of The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was a super hot comic, and then it became a TV show, and that's when everything blew up. And then after that, even Marvel and DC, when Iron Man came out, nobody was getting Iron Man #1, you know what I mean? Or Ironmonger, whoever the hell he was. I mean, I barely remember some Whiplash spec when Iron Man 2 came out, right? I barely remember some of that, but now it's and that's a good thing, that it drives sales. So we still have stuff like Punchline, which is organic, meaning it's comic book driven. So far, it may eventually become a property, but there's other things and comic book creators are guilty of this. They create something hopefully just to get optioned in Hollywood. I think there was a book at one time before it came out, it already got optioned. I forgot what it was, but it was a smaller title. But I mean, put it this way, Hollywood, I think, is finally realizing that there is a dearth of IP, meaning intellectual property, that Hollywood could tap into. Not only because I think in the past people just saw comic books as superhero books, right? But no, there's horror books, there's detective books, there's all kinds of different genres, sci-fi, supernatural, that they can pull from, and you've seen it. I mean, there's Outcast, Vagrant Queen on Sci-Fi, Deadly Class, Umbrella Academy. I mean,
Right, all those.
see all the Mark Millar stuff that's coming, and also I think Rob Liefeld has a deal with Netflix. So just be careful when you see these deals. Just recently, on last week, actually, remember the Atlas stuff that finally popped?
Mhm.
But remember we were all buying those when we first came. We heard
6
about it
months ago, 8 months ago. when
Yeah,
that was
last summer.
dropped.
I
Yeah, the
haven't-
Atlas stuff.
I have more Grimjack books than anybody should have, right?
Right.
For no reason at all, I have these Grimjack books and Dakota North books. Oh yeah.
Well, don't sell
Oh,
any of
boy.
them, Tim, because you might get called out.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey man,
Don't sell
and
any. Don't
I'm
sell
just trying
books
to
you
sell
own.
people some stuff so they can get a good
That's
deal.
right.
but
That's right. That's
Yeah.
what we're trying to do.
I'm just saying, Dakota North, better watch out, son. I've been telling you guys about Dakota North a while, maybe telling you the wrong things about it. But here's the thing, man. We may not get all the news perfectly accurate. And, scoopers always try to talk shit to me. Like, first of all, shut up, you virgin. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because we as collectors, I don't care about who's directing, who's acting, what the production schedules. I care that it's just going to be made. I don't care
Right.
what
Is
iteration
that character going to
is
show
that
up?
character being made, because
Yep.
then we go out and we buy the first. We don't care if they're going to star in their own film, star in a Disney Plus or
Who
whatever. We
gives
just
a
care
shit?
that they're being, and that's essentially that's what our long-term spec lists have been, because they've been given to us, and then like a year later, we're like, oh, they're finally doing something. But if we know that we can get it cheap enough to where we can do whatever, we can flip it or keep it. But I don't care if they're going to be in a solo film. I don't care if they're going to be part of a team. But just knowing that a character I dig or comics that I have is going to be developed, and mainly it's Marvel and DC, because on the image side,
It's hit or miss. It's
Yeah,
hit or
yeah,
miss.
Spawn is the outlier because Spawn already has a cult following, right? And so and there's some first appearances in
Well,
there.
but Spawn's already also had a movie and has had cartoon series
show,
and a ton of
absolutely.
stuff. So
I tell you right
just-
now, when the Spawn movie and series came out, nobody was going out buying Spawn comics.
no,
I remember when Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles the comics came out, they were already hot, and then when the cartoons came out, we're like, I need to go buy that comic. It's crazy.
did Smallville affect comic sales?
Oh no, nobody
Not
gave a
at
shit
all?
about Smallville, man.
No.
Did Mutant X? Do you guys remember Mutant X?
Oh my
show?
god, yeah, that was garbage.
Remember the first iterations of the Birds of Prey? What was it called on?
Birds of Prey.
Birds
Yeah,
of
it was
Prey,
fun.
absolutely.
Literally
All
had
6
what's the name-
episodes.
I actually like that show, man. I don't know. Am I the only one that liked that show? I mean,
I watched it. It was good for the time. It was fun at
Yeah,
the time to
what's
watch.
his name was in a
Smallville was
wheelchair.
even fun to watch. Smallville had good evolution in the characters. I mean, they tried to do the Justice League in Smallville at one point.
Oh,
Yeah,
So-
they had Dr. Fate on there and some
Yeah.
other weird.
Hawkman was in there.
Aquaman, right? He was the
Mhm.
main character
Aquaman.
there. It was for what it
Now we
was,
got
but
full blown in 2019, we got the Titans and Aquaman getting killed on TV. Oops, spoiler alert. Did Aquaman? Yeah, Aquaman got-
Aqualad.
Aqualad.
yeah.
I will say the
Type-
biggest image. The thing is, the biggest image book that doesn't even have anything optioned is Saga. I mean, that book sells in a 9.8 between
Famously
4.
so. The creators of Saga said, no, we
Yeah,
don't. We,
it's never
they
gonna
said
happen.
the only time we'd ever do a movie if they said, what's his name? Wes Anderson came to us.
You're telling me Brian K. Vaughan wouldn't sell out?
No, they
That
was
book
like,
would blow up.
You'd have to make it an X-rated movie.
Yeah, it'd have to be on HBO.
I mean, or a TV show.
weird robot homosexual sex going on there. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying there's some really. It's like somebody were to develop. Remember the Faust comic from the '90s
Yeah.
into a
Mm.
movie? Yo, that movie was that
Beyond Flux. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Flux,
Oh,
right.
TV,
Jeez.
man. Was that ever a comic? I'm trying to think, man. But what's interesting is the opposite when they adapt something from the movies onto like a comic book. I mean, there's things like Star Wars and things like that. But then you think like, who was talking about it? I think the CovrPrice guys were talking about it. Like one of his favorite comics is the Mission Impossible comic.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, Tom Cruise said, "I don't want that drawn that way. I look too feminine."
Yeah.
Just a weird kind of comic, man. That's just people. I mean, if you think about it, all the adaptations. Because remember, in the '80s, DC and Marvel was scooping up everything, right? I mean,
Yep.
Indiana Jones on the DC side, you had like what was that? He-Man. I mean, everything, any animated movie, everything. Flash forward to now, I
Shit,
have.
man, they did a Garbage Pail Kids movie.
So now I have a comic that's based on a cartoon that's being made into a movie. When I got the first appearance of Macross on the comic book. So right, Macross is a famous anime, and they're finally making a live action movie, and that's when the comic finally popped. Is when I think it was what's his name, the dude from Lord of the Rings, Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood and Tom McGuire. One of the guys bought the property to do Macross. And that would be dope if it's done correct, because we don't have enough kaiju representation or mech. I mean, Pacific Rim. I love the Pacific Rim, but we didn't get.
I like it too.
But we need full on Robotech Macross, man. You know, I mean, we need full on like Battle Tech. Some what's the other one?
Gundam.
Yes, I was thinking Mazinger, but that's more like a giant kaiju robot. But Gundam is also dope, man. But we can go on for days, boys and girls, but we can't. So enjoy the top 10 list while you have it. Otto, any last words?
No, that was a great show tonight. We talked about a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of things planned. Friday night, 3 Men in the Basement going live, 8 o'clock. I'm going to kick it with you for a little bit over an hour. We got some good mail calls to go over and some fun stuff. So 3 Men in the Basement. We got another show tomorrow on Lord. So we're going to keep it busy during this COVID-19. So
Ryan,
stay with us, people.
Comic near you?
Say what, brother?
No, Ryan.
Yeah, I do.
Why don't you show that? Because somebody was just asking in the live chat, hey, who remembers Garbage Pail Kid movie from the 80s?
All right, I have it somewhere. It's right here, I think.
All right. All right, Justin, on to you. Any last words?
Yes, I got a video dropping on 3 Men in the Basement tomorrow. No spoilers, just check it out. It could be a very big book, could be a small book, but you know, it drops tonight at midnight. So
nice. Could be.
I don't even hint. What is it?
You gotta watch the
check
video.
it out.
Right now.
Yeah,
The comic book call? Is it a new book? What is it?
it's a new book. It could be a possible grail. So you're gonna have to check it out. Drops tonight at midnight, 9 p.m. for you.
So you got Hella Risen number 3?
Actually, I got that coming. That's going to CGC.
Yeah. So tomorrow, guys, at 6 p.m., we got a long-term spec list as well as a few scoops. Depending on if we're up to it, we may do an auction. How about Thursday then, guys? We want to do the finish up the auction on Thursday?
We'll see. Yeah, we can see what's up. I mean, I only have like one book left, so I could do it now. I could literally do a buy it now, right now.
All right, throw it up. You got a lot of people watching. 90 people watching.
I can't find it. I don't know. I thought I had it here. Oh well, I'll have to show it.
I gotta buy it now if somebody's interested.
I gotta buy it now. Here you go. Buy it now.
Buy it now. Boom. This is where Dark Hawk number 1, 9.8. How much?
We'll go 125 shipped. Anybody want this? 125 shipped.
125 ship.
Dark
First one.
Yeah.
Type in, claim.
This is literally the only thing I got left. So if anybody's looking for this 125 shipped, up to you.
That's a great deal. So basically, it's 110.
110. Yeah. 110.
Shipping, man.
Yeah, I gotta buy it now. If anybody's gonna buy it right now,
Show it,
so I'm
Trumbo.
gonna post it.
Show it up.
All right,
It's
so
either
here we
claim
go.
Dark Hawk or
Anybody's
claim-
interested? Fantastic Four King Size Special Annual 6. It's a 5.5 off white pages. I do $250 right now. Buy it now. That's below under eBay prices. It's right around what it wants, and I'll do the free shipping on it. So $250 for a 5.5 First Annihilus. Birth of Franklin Richards. You know,
Nice.
that's about it. That's what I got. So
Ryan, you got that book?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. For those who are asking about Garbage Pail Kids, this is an exclusive. Boom.
but that's you.
And look at that. He's wearing a Lords of the Long Box shirt.
Rotting Rod. That is classic.
That's from our boy Danny Silva, man. Take it out of the bag, Ryan. Come on now.
Yeah.
I gotta teach you guys how to do this shit. All right, so Dark Hawk number 1 for 125 shipped, and the First Annihilus, what is 5.5 for how much?
Yeah, $250 shipped.
$250. So this is the first ever Lords of the Long Box appearing on a comic book. Go in closer on the you and your that was pre-beard, or did your beard rot off?
No, I had a beard. It just rotted off.
It just rotted off. He's got one arm. He has his right hand for.
I'm eating my own arm. It looks like. Love on the tombstone.
All right, boys and girls. So we will be back. Ryan, what do you say about Thursday for an auction?
All right, yeah, I'm good. I'm ready.
Yeah, we'll do Thursday because tomorrow we got a full show, and I don't want to bore you guys. But tomorrow, 6 p.m., guys, we got a long-term spec list, and we got some scoops for you. So you go out there and buy some stuff that's coming, and these are Marvel MCU-related scoops. So you don't want to miss that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Any last words, Ryan?
No, sir. Thanks for coming. Always enjoy it. Top 10, baby.
All right, we will see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific. Until next time, boys and girls, keep digging in at long boxes. Peace out.
Bust it. Shake and bake and pull it back.
Oh my God.
Don't be so different.
the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's three greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe. Their mission, to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve